What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, back with another video. This time we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subgenres in horror cinema. We're going to talk about anthology films. In particular, these are the anthologies that I own on tape that are not bootleg, so keep that in mind. We're going to go through, I think, maybe 7 or 8 films here, but the good part about that is if you're like the type of person that comes home after work and you want to watch a film, but you know you're not going to make it through. If you throw in an anthology, like you're guaranteed at least one story. And I will also point out that I do not have Creepshow 1 or 2 on this list because I don't have them on tape anymore. I got rid of them a while ago. I got them on DVD and shit like that. That's fine for me. And, you know, with that being said, let's get right into it. We're going to start it off with a film that's not exactly an anthology tape, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. We've got Boogeyman, which is a compilation of a bunch of clips from, you know, mostly sort of franchisey horror films, movies like, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, The Puppet Master, so on and so forth. Jason Voorhees, of course, Michael Myers. So it's this, I remember getting this on DVD like years ago. I actually have the DVD of it still, not the exact one I had back then, but I remember watching it, and that was like sort of my first exposure to certain movies, you know, like the Wishmaster films I've never watched. The Dentist never watched. This is how I first discovered Phantasm, was through this tape. And, you know, it's cool to check this out. Sort of a random thing, though. There was actually also an action movie, one of these, and I owned it. I think I had the DVD of it, but apparently I got rid of it over the years. But this is one that I'll never get rid of. It's cool. It's jam-packed with lots of good scenes, so... moving on to the first anthology, we've got from Amicus Films, we've got Asylum, which is a Peter Cushing classic, if you want to call it. Like, I'm a sucker for Peter Cushing. It doesn't matter what he's in, I will watch it. I even liked, like, I remember, this is totally fucked up to bring up this movie during this video, but that one Star Wars flick where there was like a Peter Cushing CGI fucking insert, and I even thought that was like cool just to see him return one way or another, man. So this has stories, I believe, written by the guy that wrote Psycho, Robert Bloch, and you get, I think, 3 stories on this one, maybe 4. This one's put together with a like this plot device where there's this guy going to get a job at a mental hospital, and he has to talk with these, you know, these patients, or they might have been doctors. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I watched it. I'm actually due to watch all these films. But, you know, really enjoyed it. I remember, I think I might have made a video about it years ago, but probably deleted by now. Because I went through a purge a couple years ago where I got rid of a lot of videos because it was just like, it was cringy to see me like smoking cigarettes, and even though I haven't had a cigarette since 2011, but, you know, like smoking blunts and shit like that. Like, I'm over all that. I'm, you know, different type of guy, but in hindsight, I wish I had kept some of the videos, just kept them privated, but what can you do? Moving on, we've got Trilogy of Terror, which is a fantastic classic. I believe it's a TV movie. I could be wrong on that, but obviously the one that sticks out the most is the Zuni fetish doll story, where this woman, Karen Black, of course, rest in peace, she's been in plenty of horror features and stuff, but she's this woman in her apartment, and she gets this little doll, and it comes alive and fucking haunts her. And I've mentioned this before on the show. My dad, when I was a kid, he would take a butcher knife. I'd be in the bathroom taking a shit or whatever the fuck I'm doing in there, and he would stick a knife under the door like the fucking doll does in Trilogy of Terror. So that's great parenting on the old man's behalf. But yeah, so this movie has... The Trilogy of Terror obviously has 3 things, but Julie, I believe that's the one... okay, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Millicent and Therese, that's the one I remember second most. I don't really remember the story Julie, but nonetheless, cool shit. Moving on. Oh man, another Peter Cushing installment. We've got Tales from the Crypt. This is the 20th Century Fox Selections edition with sort of like a shitty cover. You know, this is like, must have been in that era when they were fine with doing like really super shit covers. It's just like a couple of clips like sort of badly photoshopped together. But this is one of the most classic of anthologies, of course, heavily inspired, well, directly inspired by the EC Comics put out by William Gaines, of course, Al Feldstein, Jack Davis, fucking, who else? I'm obviously going to make an ass of myself. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. But, yeah, Tales from the Crypt obviously has one of my favorite stories, the Santa Claus story, comes back again in the TV show. I believe, I don't remember the episode, but I know that Santa Claus looks like a greasy motherfucker. And if you get a chance to check this out, it's well worth it. I like. I'm pretty sure this is the one where it starts off when they're all in like a crypt, or like all these people, they meet up in a I guess you call it a crypt, where they put all the bodies and shit like that, and they get introduced to the crypt keeper, who's not like your 1990s Tales from the Crypt keeper. He's like just a dude. But there's also Vault of Horror, which I highly recommend checking out. I don't have that on tape, but if I ever find it for a good price, I'll definitely pick it up. Not exactly actively collecting VHS right now, but I'm a sucker when I see stuff that I do like. Unfortunately, it's been a dry spell for the last couple of months here, where I haven't really went out looking and shit like that. And when I do, I always get fucking discouraged because I find nothing. Or I go and I find like one thing and I already have it, and I'm just like not in the fucking mind of buying shit twice because there's no point. I did that. I bought maybe 5 copies of Pulp Fiction, thinking I was gonna like hoard up all these copies and like sell them to fucking hipsters and shit. But it just got to the point where I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to have to deal with the people, try to sell them, anything like that. They don't sell them out the fucking 50 cents or whatever, $1. And tapes are starting to rise in price. Like, we have a place here called Value Village, which I believe in the States it's known as Savers, thrift store chain. And their DVDs, they're now like $4 a pop. Like, dude, come on. Pawn shops are cheaper than that. Here's a movie I mentioned recently in the first installment of the Sentimental VHS tape video series that I've been doing here. We've got Body Bags, of course, John Carpenter, Tobe Hooper. Who else? Oh, just them. So they directed this anthology. It's great. Good story with Stacy Keach involving hair transplant. Of course, the story with, what's his name, Mark Hamill, playing this baseball player that gets injured and he gets an eye transplant, and the transplant comes from like a psychopath, and he basically goes apeshit on his wife. So that's really good stuff. And I think this probably is one of the best wraparound stories because it's the most true to like the anthology horror host being like a total scumbag, like in this case being a corpse, like John Carpenter done up as a dead body, drinking formaldehyde martinis, and just being a shit disturber, and going through the morgue and checking out the bodies. I've always really liked this one ever since I've seen it when I was a kid. I think I told a more in-depth story on that in that last video, but I believe I mentioned this movie as well. We've got Tales from the Hood. There's not much I can say about this that I haven't already said. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Another really amazing wraparound story. That's the thing with anthologies. Like, they either nail it on the wraparound or it's just whack. Like, a lot of those like new, I think Wild Eye put out a lot of like these kind of like shitty anthologies I just could not fucking get into, and it's unfortunate, but at least we have classics like this to look back on. I know Scream Factory did a really good release of it. I don't have that one. I just have the regular snapper case, and I got this tape, which is the one I watched when I was a kid. So there's that. Now we're going to end it with a classic. If we're going to end it with anyone, we're going to end it with Bava, Mario Bava, that is, father of Lamberto Bava, fame of, credited as one of the creators of the giallo, Italian cinema master. We've got Mario Bava's Black Sabbath, which is a fantastic title, obviously, and a fantastic release put out by Hellfire Video. I love the way this looks on the shelf. It just says Black Sabbath with the little logo there with the broad. So this story is, or this movie, the wraparound is all told through Boris Karloff, who's like telling the story to his family. And this has the famous line where he says, like, I can fondle my grandson if I want. Like, very fucking not gonna fly in 2023, but yeah, this is the night of the nightmare, when a headless corpse rides the cold night wind, when a woman's soul inhabits the body of a buzzing fly. Boris Karloff and Black Sabbath. Like, you just don't get like this type of insanity anymore, man. Like, who's the modern day equivalent of Boris Karloff? I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend to fucking know. So there you have it. Those are the anthologies I got on tape, and stay tuned for more VHS tape collection videos, because that is something that I was very passionate about. And I'm starting to regain like passion while going through the collection, doing the sorting and stuff. Like, and when I say regaining passion, I shouldn't say I never lost the passion. It's just like buying the stuff. It just became way too fucking hit or miss, or you don't, like, you mostly find nothing. If you try to buy something online, you're paying out the fucking cock. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not paying $35, $40, or people spend up to like a couple $100, thousands of dollars on VHS. Like, no way, man. You guys are fucking nuts. You guys are careless with your money. I don't care. People say you shouldn't tell people what to do with their money. If you're spending thousands on a tape, you should be fucking locked up, because that's insane. All right? You need to fucking you need to go on one of those Dr. Phil type shows. But anyways, thanks for watching. 666 in the comments. Make sure you check out cinema.187 on Instagram. Buy the zines, pick them up, read them, enjoy them, have them in your collection. And adios.